many millions of acres of forest lands are administered by the Department of the Interior. The Bureau of Land Management is responsible for the administration of over 2 million acres of these forest lands in western Oregon. This stand of big timber is growing on O&C lands in Coos County, Oregon. The O&C lands are a part of the Bureau of Land Management's forests. We call this perfect Douglas fir the Centennial Tree. From it was cut the huge log on display at the Oregon Centennial Exposition. This tree grew to a height of 283 feet in 406 years. Good soil, abundant moisture, and the mild Oregon climate enable the growth of mammoths such as this in the forest lands of western Oregon. These forest lands are among the finest timber producers in the world. At a point 4.5 feet above the ground line, the base is 111 inches in diameter. Virgil Heath, Oregon State Supervisor of the Bureau of Land Management, is on the right, and Bud Vladimiroff, manager of the Coos Bay District, is on the left. The high climber prepares to climb the tree. A large old tree is extremely difficult to climb. The climber's spurs cannot get a firm grip in the soft, loose bark. He slips and slides as his spurs tear out. Few men are willing to risk the dangers of the high climber's job. The safety rope has a steel core to protect it from accidental axe cuts. The heavy rope is hard to swing upward on so large a tree. The climber must keep the rope moved up the opposite side of the tree as he advances. The tree is being climbed to attach a cable to the tree trunk 100 feet above the ground. A pull on the cable was needed because the tree tilted slightly away from its prepared bed. Ordinarily, the lean of a tree is overcome by wedging the back cut, but this tree is too heavy to lift against its lean by wedging. The loggers are pulling the cable from the tractor at the far end of the bed down to the base of the tree. The climber carried a rope, threaded it through a block, and the cable was pulled up. The climber is making the cable fast to the tree. Glad that his job is done, the climber comes down the tree so rapidly that he seems almost to be falling. Should his spurs slip now, he could be badly injured by being smashed against the bark. He alternately drops the rope, frees his spurs, and then kicks them in again to stop his fall. Only an exceptionally skillful climber could have overcome the obstacles of climbing this forest giant. This tractor is making a bed to cushion the tree's fall and prevent it from breaking. Everyone that could, including school children, made this day a holiday. The children gathered at the base of the tree. People crowded about the tree to look and look again at its great size. The smooth bark indicates the high-grade building materials which can be produced from the tree trunk. The absence of burls or conchs shows that the wood is free from decay. On and on, the clean, symmetrical bole climbs up into the sky. Until finally, we see the first limbs, which branch by branch build up the huge canopy lifted high above the forest floor. This is the bed which the tractor made for the tree. Logs were moved aside, stumps and rocks were dug out, and the ground was leveled and the soil loosened to provide a soft bed. Now the undercut, which guides the direction of the tree's fall, is being sawed. The cut being made here is a Humboldt undercut. This type of undercut saves wood since the waste material is taken from the stump and not from the log. The back of the undercut has not been sawed completely through, and the men are breaking it loose with wedges and axes. This tough cross-grained stump wood does not split easily, and it's very difficult to break the undercut free. This is a falling gun. It's being used to measure the angle of the undercut. Now the faller is making the back cut. Soon the tree will fall. Slowly the tree starts falling. With gathering speed, it crashes to the earth. The tree weighed approximately 160 tons and scaled 40,000 board feet of lumber, enough to build 4 5-room houses. Within seconds, the crowd swarmed over and about the fallen giant. The outer inch in diameter was grown in 18 years. This inch of growth represents an increase in the tree's volume of 2,330 board feet, or an average of 129 board feet per year. The log was carefully rolled away from the remainder of the tree to prevent splitting. Bark explodes under the tremendous pressure of the choker wire. Preparatory to loading, the log is turned end for end in order to place the heavy butt in position for loading on the truck frame. Building the spur road down to the log. The logging truck followed closely as the road was built. A tractor helps turn the trailer so the truck can back to the log. This tractor is digging a deep ditch beside the log for the truck to back into. The log will then be rolled from the bank onto the truck and trailer. The truck is now in the ditch. The top of the cab is visible in the left of the picture. The tractor rolls the butt end of the log onto the truck. Now a tractor pulls the small end of the log onto the trailer. The 13,310 board-foot log is finally loaded on the truck. One tractor pushes and the other pulls as the truck struggles with its 54-ton load through the mud and up the hill. The truck is rolling on the Bureau of Land Management's Brummett Creek Forest Access Road. A stop is made on the county road at the Sitcombe School, and the driver invites the children to come forward. The children quickly respond to the driver's signal. A power saw cuts a thin slice of wood. The driver cuts and distributes souvenirs to the children. Now traveling on a private logging road, the truck moves through the woods on the way to the railroad. Uphill and down, it keeps steadily on its way. Out of the timber and through the open valley. Climbing to the summit of the last grade. The binder chains are tightened before the final descent. As the log was too heavy for transportation over the highways, it had to be transferred at Fairview to a railway car specially built to carry extremely heavy loads. Now a tractor uses a cable to roll the log partway off the truck and onto the car. The truck had been driven onto blocks to bring it level with the car. The log is being very carefully and slowly rolled the rest of the way onto the car. These are the men of the Georgia Pacific Corporation who did the logging. Now on the way to Portland. Virgil Heath, Oregon State Supervisor, on behalf of the Bureau of Land Management, donates the log to the Oregon Centennial Exposition. The State of Oregon, 1859-1959. At Portland, the log was moved from the railroad car and was replaced upon the same truck on which it started its journey. A powerful crane with seeming ease lifts an end of the log to permit removal of the chocks which kept it in place on the car. The truck is brought into position for loading. First one end, and then the other end of the log is transferred from the car to the truck. Under the Bureau's reforestation program, the cutover lands from which this log was taken have been reseeded by helicopter to Douglas fir. This is to ensure the prompt establishment of a new stand of timber to provide forest products for the future. The log, which is a fine example of the magnificent Douglas fir forests of the Pacific Coast, is now on the final stage of its long journey to the Exposition grounds. The Bureau of Land Management is pleased to have made this log available for the viewing of Exposition visitors and for those who will later see it at its permanent location at the Forestry Building.